He tried to sabotage me at work, so I turned his scheme into a promotion. Let me tell you how I went from nearly getting fired to getting a corner office, all thanks to the guy who tried to destroy me. Let's call him Derek. Derek and I worked at the same architectural firm. I'm a project designer. He's a senior project manager. On paper, we were supposed to collaborate. In reality, Derek treated me like a threat from the moment I walked through the door. Maybe it was because I was younger, had more current design software knowledge, or maybe just because I didn't kiss his boots like everyone else did. Whatever the reason, Derek made it his mission to remind me of my place. That meant constantly correcting me in meetings, blocking my project suggestions, and talking over me in front of clients. I kept my head down, did my job, took on the assignments no one else wanted, and built a solid track record. The junior team looked up to me. Clients started requesting me on new projects. And Derek, he hated it. It got worse when our firm announced a new internal initiative, a company-wide design innovation competition. The winner would get a bonus, a paid trip to an international conference, and most importantly, first pick of projects in the upcoming fiscal year. For someone like me, still proving myself, it was the golden ticket. And I had an idea, a sustainable, modular urban housing concept that combined aesthetic design with eco-friendly technology. I poured weeks into this thing. I worked late nights, skipped weekends, even pulled in some help from our 3D render team to really sell the concept. I didn't tell Derek much about it. He wasn't part of the initiative, and frankly, I didn't trust him. But then came the incident. 3 days before submissions were due, my entire folder designs, blueprints, cost analysis, renderings vanished from the firm's shared server. Gone. I freaked out. I'd saved everything to the cloud. I had backups. Or I thought I did. But nope. Everything had been deleted. Not corrupted, not misplaced, manually deleted. I went straight to IT. They checked the logs and confirmed someone had accessed my drive remotely from a manager's terminal, late at night, under someone else's credentials. Guess whose? Derek's. When I confronted him, he gave me this smug look and said, "If you don't back up your work properly, that's not my fault." As if he didn't just commit digital sabotage. I wanted to scream, but instead I smiled and said, "You're right, my bad." Because at that moment, something snapped, and a new plan formed in my head. I wasn't just going to rebuild my project. I was going to expose Derek for the backstabbing fraud he was. But I knew I couldn't do it alone. I had 72 hours. No files, no renderings, no pitch deck. And somehow, I needed to rise from the ashes and take this guy down at the same time. So I reached out to every person Derek had screwed over. The assistant he yelled at in front of a client. The intern he took credit from. The engineer he tried to get transferred because they caught a structural error in one of his blueprints. People were more than willing to help me. Within 24 hours, we rebuilt my design from scratch. A designer from another team helped me redo the visual mock-ups. One of the engineers recreated the cost model. Even the intern stayed late after hours to help polish the final presentation. But I wasn't done yet. Because exposing Derek, that needed proof. So I went back to IT. I asked them to pull full access logs for the night my files were deleted. Every click, every folder accessed. Then I asked them to show it to HR privately. Not to accuse, just to raise concerns. I didn't even have to twist any arms. Apparently, HR had fast-tracked their investigation. Once IT confirmed the sabotage and my teammates backed up the story, it was game over. He was caught red-handed and there was no coming back from it. But the best part? They pulled everyone into a firm-wide meeting later that day. At first, it seemed like a normal update session. Then Melissa stood up and addressed the entire staff. Before we begin, we want to recognize the winner of this year's Innovation Initiative, whose project not only reflects creative brilliance, but also exemplifies collaboration, resilience, and leadership under pressure. Then she looked directly at me. Congratulations to my name. Applause, cheering, even the grumpy finance guy clapped. I stood there, trying not to burst into a full grin. And Derek? His name was never mentioned, not even once. It was like he'd been erased from the company, Thanos snap style. That would have been enough for me, but then came the real reward. The firm offered me a promotion, not just a title change, but full creative leadership over a new design unit focused on sustainable architecture. I'd get to build my own team, pick my own projects, and even present at the international conference that came with the competition prize. But the cherry on top? I got Derek's corner office. Yeah, the one with floor-to-ceiling windows and the fancy ergonomic chair he never let anyone touch. HR offered to have it cleaned out, but I requested to do it myself. Not out of pettiness. Okay, maybe a little out of pettiness. Inside his top drawer, I found his motivational mantras notepad, the same one he used to quote smugly in meetings. I kept one for myself. Success is earned, not given. You're damn right it is. And to anyone else who's ever been sabotaged by someone threatened by your talent, here's what I learned. Keep your cool. Document everything. And trust that if you play it smart, karma has a corner office just waiting for you too.